So, Kimbo, Nata Tanzambi Yamazulu. And I can say, like you said, Kumfumu Kakuisa. Hope I'm saying that right. I'm here
Brother,
with the Yanata Tsilombo. It's a lady
wow.
to be with him today. It's a blessing, and I'm so glad that we finally get a chance to talk. I know I have so many questions of him, and I'm sure that in this session, there will hopefully be a great time that we'll be able to help others to understand better about this Bantu awakening, and it's a blessing and honor. Glad to have you, sir.
Sir, nah, don't call me sir. Don't call me sir. Don't call me sir. Okay, first of all praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
There's so many things I wanted to ask you or just talk to you about. First of all, I want to say,
okay.
Wow, you one of the very few who understood the things that we were saying. And
yes, this has been a blessing for me. Back in 2016, I was in a Christian church still, and I attended an evangelical church at that time. And for some odd reason, it's the strangest story because I started to feel like something wasn't right. There were some things that I was questioning before, but this particular church I was at, it was very, evangelical. The biggest church in the city mentality. They had I was in the praise and worship team, and I don't know, it's just for some reason I would hear things that just didn't sound right, and there were like scandals going on in the church, and it was the weirdest thing that was happening. And one day, a lady came from, I guess she was from Israel, yeah, because they bless Israel, and she blew the shofar. And for some odd reason, when she did that, something inside of me stirred. It was like, wow, that just feels different. And then all of a sudden, because I had started my YouTube channel, and I kind of watched different ministries, and I was starting to get some stuff from the Most High at that time, that things were coming to an end and all that, because I know I had some experiences with him in the past as a Christian, and I started to realize there's got to be something else going on. And so he started to show me flaws in the preaching, and he wanted me to understand that the preacher that I was listening to was not telling the truth. So one day, just out of miraculous thing, it says you need to be obedient to the word. So I did a fast and I prayed. Lo and behold, when I fasted and prayed, I had a revelation while I was at my job, because I worked at a company called Train, and ironically, when I was younger, I had this bracelet that was said Train on it. And when I saw this revelation, all of a sudden, this thing in my voice said, "Sing the song Oshe Baba." And I was like, out of the blue, it's like, okay. So I started singing it. And I mean, it was the weirdest feeling because the tears started flowing down my face. And I started to get this connection, like, oh my gosh, because it talks about going back to Africa to teach people how to praise the Lord. And it was like this overwhelming feeling, like we've been lied to, like something just turned on. It was an amazing feeling and I started to pray. I started to sing. People thought I was on drugs,
Yeah.
So it was an amazing feeling, because it was like something just came on and started to switch on. And I think one of my coworkers, who actually he was a former devil worshiper, he could feel the connection. He said he made the comment. He says, "God's mad at you." I said, "Which God?" So he was like, he could tell that something was changing in me. So it was amazing.
So that's amazing. Just to ask you,
okay,
what was your view about Africa before this awakening? How did you view Africa or African people as per se?
Actually, I had no negativity about it. One of my best
Really?
friends was from Nigeria
Oh,
that I used to
Nigeria.
work with, and
Oh, okay. Which
yeah,
which 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 tribe?
Igbo,
Igbo. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay,
Igbo,
yeah.
yeah,
We know them well. We know
yeah,
them well. Okay, the Igbo,
Igbo,
the
right,
Igbo people.
Igbo,
Yeah,
yeah.
Igbo. Yeah, we
And
know them well.
so, yeah,
Okay.
my sister actually has been to South Africa, and I'm hoping,
You told me.
yeah,
You told me. I remember. Like just to cut you short, is when I came on YouTube, and there were some people that I who would comment that you'll always remember.
gotcha.
I remember it was Sister Benisha. She would always comment, and I used to read the comments. I'm like, wow, who is this? And the other person was you.
Gotcha.
So I would read the comments, and you would comment on all the videos, and I was like, wow, So you know, you get a lot of crazy people on YouTube.
Oh yes.
So yeah, that is why I wouldn't respond. Normally, a lot of people judge you according to what they see on the videos. I am actually a very private person. I don't. It's because of YouTube that I started opening up more. I'm a
Gotcha.
friendly person, but I'm very secretive. I don't open up.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the spirit led me to open up more and more. Of course, it's a double-edged sword. Uh,
Right.
you open up and you get attacked.
Oh, I saw those attacks.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't have done it, but I commented to our sister in the UK when she was talking about some of
Oh,
this stuff.
well, you know what? We're gonna talk about that. I'm focusing on you. I'm focusing
Yeah,
on you right now. So
gotcha.
I used to read those comments. I used to read those comments, and let me read the scripture.
Go right ahead. Let me get it.
Let me read the scripture.
Okay.
One of my I always read this, but it's something that always I love this. Paul was inspired when he wrote this. First Corinthians,
Okay.
13, from verse 9.
All right.
For we know in part, and we prophesy in part.
Hallelujah.
But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part will be done away with. So we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when perfection comes, that is going to be done away with. When I
Hallelujah.
was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. The context of this is talking about spiritual maturity and accessing knowledge.
Right.
I know that you have a hunger for knowledge and a hunger for revelation knowledge, because I used to see the stuff you used to write.
Yeah.
And in my case, I thank the most. I always say I don't bash the church fully. Uh, I thank the most that the church was grade one. It was a foundation. I have, I, I had a pastor who knows a lot of things about many things.
Right.
This pastor knew about our Bantu heritage, our Hebraic heritage and stuff. And he would tell me in parables, you know. And but I realized in church there's a conspiracy of silence,
Oh yes.
and
You know.
everybody's to be
Right.
politically correct.
Yes.
Nobody wants to say whatever, and the pastors know, because I confront pastors all the time. Now, there's a lot of people in church who are children, but there's a lot of us who we've grown. Do you understand what I'm saying? We've grown
Yes.
from the milk. When
Yes. We
I was
have.
a child, exactly. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I behaved as a child. But when I grew up, I put away childish things. It's talking about spiritual growth. And we have to grow spiritually from the milk to the meat.
Right.
Now, this is the dilemma. We have a lot of pastors who are mature, but don't chase certain things. On
True.
the other side, we have immature pastors who don't know nothing about nothing.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You know,
Yes.
they exactly. So now, in my case, was like I started growing so fast spiritually. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more. I outgrew the church. It sounds very arrogant, but it's not.
Right. And
Because
that's, you know, with you
go on, go
brothers,
on.
with you brothers, I was feeling the same way. You know, that's why I was so glad to come in contact with you because, hallelujah, the Most High, because I started off with the Hebrew Israelite teachings, but I said
Okay.
something just doesn't feel right with this. I even was going to
Yes.
go, because IUIC is not that far from me. I got on a phone call with them, and something
Are you
about
serious?
the conversation just didn't feel right.
General Johanna.
I don't remember. I don't remember who he was, but
There's a dark yak. I would love to meet those people.
yeah,
I would
because
love
it's
to
up
speak
in
to them.
it's the one in Denver, and
Yeah.
he started getting angry with my questions, and I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm just asking questions. Something
Exactly.
I just felt like, and the Most High was like, no, you know what? I don't want you. So I learned from them on YouTube, but I never really, you know, especially when they started talking about the chart. I was like,
Oh,
how do they
okay.
know? How do they know that's right?
Yeah.
You
You
know,
know,
because the scripture says all over the nation, we're all through the nations, all over the world. So how does this,
yes.
you know? And so I started to do my studying, and I know it was Truth Unveiled that got me started on the Africa trip.
Oh, okay. Truth unveiled.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so,
Okay.
and then I have a, I was, I studied history. I taught history as a
Wow,
substitute teacher and whatnot.
that's also one of the reasons why I'm talking to you also.
Right.
Interesting.
And there's a buddy of mine from Chicago. He's an ex-Marine, and and he's older than me, and he has a lot of knowledge about how things are fake and how things are real. And we started looking at how the maps of Africa have been changed, and we're like, they're hiding something here. What are they hiding?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and I started to get the connection when my sister said, well, she goes, when she went to South Africa, she goes, well, I ran into the Bantu tribe and I see those Canaanites there, they talk. That's why she started getting upset about the Eurocentric Christianity. That she says in Africa they know about the Creator, and that's what really got me saying, okay, because one of my good
We know.
yeah
We know.
one of
But
my good friends. Well, I never got a chance to talk to her, but she's from South Africa. His wife is from there, and I hope the time will come when we get to speak because I think she's from Johannesburg. But yeah, it's like when you mentioned Shaka Zulu in the army of Dawidi, I was like, oh my, I just kind of, that movie, I watched it over and over. I had the book about Shaka Zulu. And
exactly.
one day, I was listening to Kosa, uh, Kosa, I got them, I click.
Oh
um,
wow.
the Kosa music
Mhm.
gospel, and this lady sang the song, and she started
No, no,
singing
no, 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 no.
Bayete.
Let me no,
She's
no, let me clap. Let me clap.
okay.
Let me clap. Let me clap. Wow, you gotta. Oh my goodness, you have no idea when I see the diaspora pronouncing the Bantu languages. It brings me to tears. I clap. I clap.
Yeah,
Okay, go on.
yeah. You know, it's amazing because she was singing this song, and they broke into the Bayete and Kosiyami, and
Bayete
oh, I
Kosian.
fell to
Yes.
my knees. I started crying. I felt the spirituality. I said, "You have got to be kidding me!" Because I
That's the Paleo
remember them.
Hebrew.
Yeah, because I remember
That's the
them saying
Paleo.
that in
Yeah.
the Shaka Zulu movie,
Shaka Zulu
Bayete and
movie.
Kosi,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I'm like, wait a minute, they
That's
lied. I said they lied about that movie. He was about to. He was the Most High.
yeah.
I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
It's
I
amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing. It's amazing. We know in part
right.
and we prophesy in part. I saw a comment from a lady. I don't know where she's from. She's like, "No, brother Jonathan, you're very arrogant." And I was like, "Wow, you don't even know me.
Right.
Do you know there are certain things I don't even share."
Yeah, I know that you'd
Yeah.
always say that, and it's kind of
I,
I
I,
get
I,
frustrated because they hold you back. because I like to know more.
Yeah, no, that's why we're gonna start doing these private sessions also. You
Yeah.
know, when I started last year, you would see I used to battle within myself because okay, what must I share, what not to share, what must I share, what not to share? Because a good teacher has to reach the mature and the babies.
Right.
Because if you only reach the mature, you leave out the babies. And if you only teach on the babies, you starve the ones who are mature.
Right.
Do you understand? To be a teacher of the word is the most difficult thing because
I
you have
can
to
see you
cater.
guys are struggling with
Yeah,
that because there's a lot
very
that we don't know, and it's helping us grow spiritually
and
exponentially.
well,
Hallelujah.
you know, and there's this thing that I don't know, maybe it comes across that we think we know more. That is not true because the most spiritual people are in America. I'm telling the truth. I grew up watching some very, very powerful pastors, whether black or white, the old pastors, not this is my Bible. I am what it says.
Yeah.
No. I grew up watching R.W. Shambach, white guy, very powerful guy. Robert Slyden, the guy who wrote God's Generals, very
Okay.
powerful guy. The God's Generals series, you must
Yeah,
check
I
out
think I remember that. Yeah.
the books. Yeah, I grew up watching uh, um, well, Creflo Dollar, the old Creflo Dollar, the new one, I don't relate. you know,
Yeah.
uh, Casey Price. Name any of these pastors. I was never into TD Jakes for some reason. So the older preachers back in the day, there was power. They had spirituality. The new guys, I'm sorry, like you know what I'm saying. So African Americans, whether African Americans or white people, whatever, old Christianity, there was power. Old Christianity, there was spirituality. It's this new type of Christianity uh, where they're trying to merge motivational speaking and all these things. It lost power. I'm using
Yes.
Christianity for lack of a better word. You
Gotcha.
understand? So I'm not one of those people in Africa who thinks I know more. I mean, or I think I know more than everybody. No. So when I see those comments, I'm like, yo, sister, you don't even know me. And the funny thing, and the funny thing is, majority of my friends are African Americans.
Huh.
That's the weirdest thing. Majority
Yeah.
of the people I talk to are African Americans because it's a mandate, it's a passion. It's what the Most High told me for years.
Gotcha.
You know, yeah. So we know in part, we prophesy in part. You know, if all of us would just be humble, if all of us would stay in our lane, we won't have any problems.
Yeah, and
We,
see, he's given me one of the toughest lanes that I think I've ever
mm-hmm,
experienced because
mm-hmm.
kind of like Chiba, um,
No, no.
he ha-
Oh, that
I know I'm not like him, but
no. I
it's
must say, and I was going to ask you about this whole Nimrod thing. I'm
yeah.
going there. I'm going
See,
there. So yeah.
what happened to me in that church that I was attending
Yeah.
is the pastor, he basically mocked me about the Antichrist. And that's how I could tell he was a Masonic pastor. So apparently he's been connected to this system. Because see,
Wow.
in the city that I live in, the Masons have marked it with their signs as you drive down
Wow.
the highway.
Wow.
So they don't hide it here. So one of the things that happened to me was I was investigating Jared Kushner for some odd reason because I prayed to the Most High. I said, "Can you? I just want you to reveal to me who
Oh,
this
Kushner.
person is." And I'll tell you
Okay.
how I tell you how I don't know if I told you how I came to that, but because
You wrote to me one time, and
yeah,
in
that
fact, this is weird because I was going to ask you about who do you believe the Antichrist is, and
right,
we're going to clear the air. We're going to list some names, and then we're
got
going
you.
to try and reach a consensus because we know in part, and we prophesy
Right.
in part. Okay.
Well, the reason why I came to his consensus is because his name is affiliated with what Tammuz would have been. Because his name, the Most High showed me, was of Cush. Kushner is
You
of Kush
you
in the German.
you wrote to me. I remember you wrote to
Yeah,
me on my wall, and I'm like, you shouldn't be writing things like that. So I said, you know what, one time we're
yeah.
gonna talk because
Sorry.
that's some deep information. No.
Yeah,
It's I was just saying, I'm like, yo, this guy, and you write this long paragraph. So I used to
yeah.
read. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, see, I had an experience with that, and I'll tell you what happened to me. This happened to me back in 2017 during my fast and my prayer.
Okay.
Is I was researching him on YouTube, and for some strange reason, my house got really cold, and I thought it was some because it was in the wintertime. It was about January, and I said, "Is somebody messing with the heater?" And I went to go look at it, and it had gone way down in temperature, and I was like, "Wow, it's just cold in here." So I fixed it. I came back. I started typing something, and when I hit send, the response changed right on my phone. It said I typed something, and I hit send, and it responded back to me, "Hi there." So it's like the demon was sitting there talking to me as
You
I
know,
was sitting here
people
typing this.
people don't believe in these things. You know,
Yeah.
people don't believe spirituality. Wow, that's crazy. And there are demons in technology, hectically.
Yes.
Even when you go on YouTube, have you ever wondered when you did a video, for example, you did a video like with Vessel of Yah,
Right.
that famous video that shook, you know,
Yeah.
and I have to commend you guys, man. You
Yeah.
know, I mean the courage. I don't even have the courage to speak about such topics. I have to commend
Yeah.
you. I have to commend Yah by Yah, and I have to commend, of course, Vessel of Yah. And sometimes when you do some videos, don't you you feel like you're low in energy,
Yes.
like you can sense the warfare. You know, I've
Oh
been doing a couple
yes.
of videos exactly, and
And
you know when you've made Satan angry.
oh yeah, because you know there was a brother here. I think I told you about him too. And the funny thing about him, when he warned me, he showed me a video about a lady who was talking about an attempted nuclear attack on South Carolina. And I didn't even know him yet. So when he sent me the link to the video I had already seen, because he said it was his house that was involved with it,
Wow,
I was like, wow.
that
I was in
that's
shock because I was like,
that's
okay, so
crazy.
I thought that lady was talking craziness. Like, wait a minute, that didn't happen. And then he turns around and sends me the same link. And he said, yeah, the devil tried to attack him over the
Wow.
way his spirituality had increased to the point where he could recognize
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So
And I
that's
was
crazy.
like,
So just getting back to Kushner,
mm-hmm.
uh, you know, the whole topic of the Antichrist is a whole big topic in Christianity or spirituality.
Oh,
Let me
yes.
just use the word spirituality. Um, you know, our wonderful sister there from the UK,
Yeah,
she's obsessed with Obama. You know, Obama. Other people will say Kushner. Other people will say the Roman Catholic Church, whatever. The way I was taught, the way I understand, first of all, Antichrist is a system.
right.
And there are many personalities who portray the Antichrist, you know? So what, you believe that Kushner is the guy?
Well, what happened is the Most
Give me
High,
the reasons why. Give me
I'll
the
tell,
reasons why.
I'll tell you why. Okay, so one of the things the Most High showed me was his name was Jared Kushner. And I came across, I can't remember what scripture it was because it's not in the original, it's not in the current canon.
Okay.
It was when Jared was the son of Seth. And when they were on the mount, that when they were separated from Cain's seed,
Wow.
apparently in this scripture, and I can't remember what book it was, the devil came to Jared and tricked him to mix with Cain's seed.
Wow.
So he was also the father of Enoch.
Yeah.
So then the Most High was showing me that he carries the name of when the devil tricked Jared, and of course Kushner being son of Cush, which would have been Tammuz because that's Nimrod's, son. And so he said he carried the spirit of Tammuz in him.
Wow.
And
That's
then he showed
crazy.
me how Obama actually carried the spirit of Nimrod in him.
Yes.
then he showed me, because I actually talked to a Secret Service agent that could verify this, because I knew Hillary Clinton had issues. That there was a book written about her where she apparently did a ritual where she got the spirit of Isis, which we know is Ishtar, in her, and the Most High validated and said yes, she did in fact
Wow,
internalize that spirit.
that's crazy. That's
Now,
crazy. So
one
let me
of the
just cut you short there.
oh, go
Let me
ahead.
cut
I'm
you short.
sorry. Go ahead.
Just be wise what you say online.
Oh, I
Just be
got you.
wise, but yeah, just be
Yeah,
wise. Yeah.
I
Some things say off air.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Okay.
I spoke about this in a video I've done before, and
Oh no. If you feel a release, it's fine.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but what happened to me was, as I started to learn more about the Freemasons, and see, this is our problem here in America. Here, like I grew up in an all-black church that was a Methodist church.
Methodist, man. How do you survive in
Yeah,
the Methodist church, bro?
huh?
How do you
How did
survive in the Methodist church?
my parents? My dad was a Methodist. My mom was Moravian, but my dad was a Methodist. That's why
Whoa. Your mom was Moravian.
Moravian.
I know them. They are
Yeah,
very spiritual.
yeah. She
They are
never
very
grew up with the idea that Jesus was white, so that's one of the things that helped me get
they
the
are
angel I
very
got.
spiritual.
Right,
They are very spiritual. They normally like to pray and fast at the mountains, and
right.
they practice a form of Bantu culture. Actually, the Moravians and stuff.
Yeah, I
Like
told her.
they,
That's why I was telling her that.
yes, they
Yeah.
practice.
So,
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
see,
Okay,
she had some, like, well, she had a near death experience because she almost died having childbirth, but she put an angel on me when I was young. And this angel, that's why I had to ask the Most High, who did you give me? Because I have gone through so many things in my life where I should have been dead and I didn't get touched. So it
hallelujah.
was, excuse me,
My
it was like,
my lake. They are
yeah,
real.
the
They are very
Maliki.
real.
See, that's
They
why
are
I
very
can't
real.
talk about it to people, because they get upset. Like, why did he save you and not my family member? Or why did my family member die?
It's
And
called
so
favor.
it's favor, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, for me, getting into this whole conversation, so when I was given the mission to talk against the Antichrist system, this brother came in and he warns me. He says, "Be careful, don't do it." And the Most High stepped in and said, "No, you have free reign. You
Wow.
can talk about this."
Okay.
They
Okay.
tried to shut down my channel once, and the Most High turned it back on. They tried to cancel my Facebook and my Twitter page, and the Most High turned them back on. I got
Wow.
into debates with two Freemasons on Twitter, and I actually shut them both down. It was what was funny about it. And see, like I said, in the Methodist church that I grew up in, and this is our problem here in the diaspora, the African American Freemasons, they wear their colors in plain sight. So,
In plain
like
sight.
in our church, they would literally show up once a year, and at the
Yes.
time I didn't know how they impacted everything at that time, and they would
Yes.
always do their yearly, you know, meeting at the church. And so now, as I've learned what that really meant, it's like, oh, they were deceiving us. I didn't understand. Like one time, let me tell you a story. That the one Freemason that I know was a main guy at our church. He brought in a lady that started talking about how the original Hebrews were black. Kind of how
Yeah.
that put it in your face, and it
They
goes
know
over
it.
your head like this.
They know well.
Yeah.
They know well. They know very
So
well.
it was kind of like I talked to this lady. I'm like, you got to. That's what kind of made me mad at the beginning. I was like, okay, I don't want this church is making me mad because they know some things they're not talking about.
Exactly.
And see, it started to build. Like even when I went to this evangelical church, and at that time I already knew something was wrong with that Israeli flag, and I was like, I don't think that's David's star. I was like, this can't be
Mm.
right. And then I had another brother. This was what the kicker was. I sang with the guy who was ex-army. He did a whole story about his testimony and everything. He's a brother that we sang together, and he started hinting to me like, well, I said, why do we? He said, do you know? I don't agree with how we're praying for this Israel because I don't think they represent. They don't look right to me. He says, well, he's like, well, you know we're the real ones anyway. I was like, well, then why are we so silent? I said,
Exactly.
why are we silent then? And that's what started that whole
Exactly.
trend.
Just to come back, on Kushner.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, from what I understand, there are many antichrists.
Right.
There's going to be many of them. Like it's going to be like, the New World Order, whatever. There'll be
Right.
many of them. So people shouldn't fight. Like I remember I think Michaelia believes it's Macron or Macron. He
Right.
broke down. Um,
Yeah, I remember he said that. Yeah.
yeah, Macron and the Macron, the mark.
Right.
So yeah, you see Macron. Another person may see Trump. Another person may see Kushner, Obama. It's the same. They're all
Yeah.
working. You know what I mean? So, and I know
Well,
our
see,
sister from the UK is Obama.
yeah.
Obama. And
Well, sorry. Go ahead. I may cut you off.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
Now,
Go on.
well, when the Most High revealed this, one of the things that happened was I, I had this major revelation about the gods of Egypt. That
Yeah.
all of their names are pretty much in the English language anyway. So we
Wow.
have all the gods.
Wow.
And I was listening to a guy that was a minute to midnight, and as a channel I watch, and also Shaking My Head Productions. And I was listening to these people talk about. They say, well, what it is that they have the conglomerate of gods compounded into one. So you think
Wow.
it's just the one God, Lucifer, but it's all they have. They worship the different deities.
Wow.
They just
I
don't
feel
tell you
you.
that.
I feel
So
you. I totally feel you.
yeah, so realistically speaking, when you say the power of Jesus here in America with their white version, it's the power of all the fallen angels and these gods making
Wow,
up
wow, wow.
that entity.
That's some heavy stuff right there. That's some heavy
Yeah,
stuff right there.
yeah. So
So
it's not
yeah,
just one
so
God.
there's many. That's why people have to have a narrow mind about the end times.
Right.
And the end times won't just be doom and gloom. No, the most will move. Like there's going to be the X-Men
Right.
powers.
I was listening
You see what
to
I'm saying?
Mikhail Massa just did a great video. I just watched it today. He really woke me up to something.
Which one? Which video did he do?
He just did about judgment and
Oh, okay. I still have to watch it with
yeah,
the other sister.
and
Yeah.
he
So
and he started going off on some things, and I was like, wow,
Massa is very spiritual.
yeah, he woke me up to something I didn't even. He went to the book of Isaiah and he started sharing some stuff, and I was like, okay, now that makes a lot of sense. Why the Most High
Massa.
had me like one of the reasons why I put the Congo flag outside of my house.
Oh wow, you got a Congo flag outside your house?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what happened.
Wow.
Well, the Most High took me to
Congo.
Jeremiah
Okay.
51,
Okay. Okay.
and what he showed me
We
was
say Yelimeya.
Emilia, right? Emilia, sorry.
No. I'm just teaching you so you know. When you
Yeah,
know the Bantu, you know what? You don't have to be a perfectionist in Bantu languages. No. But when
okay,
you know the small words, you'll link it up.
gotcha.
Yelimeya means the
Yamileya,
fixer.
the fixer.
Yelimeya.
Yamileya,
Yelimeya. It means the
Yamileya.
fixer. So he
Okay.
used to go around trying to fix. He was the fixer.
Yeah,
Jeremiah.
just before you
Yelimeya.
contacted me, I was reading the Kikongo Bible. I was reading the
Hallelujah.
book of Luca.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You see,
So,
Luca, and I'm looking for you. Luca.
looking for
To
okay,
look. To seek.
to
It means to
seek.
seek also.
Okay,
Hallelujah.
got you.
Look.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, I'll tell you what happened to me. That was spiritual too, because the Most High told me in a vision, or it was like he was talking. He was showing me some things. He started taking me through Jeremiah 51, and
Okay.
it talks about raising your banner in your land of captivity.
Oh, wow.
So I said, well, what is the banner?
Wow.
And he said, well,
Okay.
what do you call me? Congo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
Wow.
so
Wow. Wow.
I told people on Twitter, I think I said it on my YouTube channel, I said, the Congo banner acts like the the blood over the door, like what happened in
Wow.
Egypt. So
Wow.
because you have the
Okay.
spirit of Congo, It's to help pass over when this whole thing starts. So
Wow.
right after I did that, yeah.
Okay.
Right after I did that, the Messiah, I heard his voice outside my window call my name, and it was the most. He actually, and this is how I knew that the Bantu is correct, because he sounded like my uncle from the Caribbean singing my name with a deep voice.
Whoa. Can you please repeat that?
Okay,
Please repeat that. You put the banner outside your house.
Yes.
The Congo flag.
Yes.
And then you heard a voice in a Caribbean accent.
Yeah, a deep voice singing my name. It was like
Wow.
it kind of sound like this. Tremaine Bailey outside my window. So it was like I got marked by the Messiah. It said that the sheep will hear my voice.
Wow.
And
wow. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You see, in this awakening, we're all different. And Nabi Tsiba will be Tsiba. Hallelujah. Don't try to change him. Let him be.
Right.
Hallelujah. Mikael Massa will be Massa.
Right.
Don't try to change him. Let him be. Ben Dawid Dibena Congo, Vessel of Yah, Makaya, Sister Sarah. I love the uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? Brother Masia, the uniqueness. The problem is when we try to come on each person's lane. For example, Nabi Tsiba Malonga. The reason why we don't like to interpret him, because he's a prophet of judgment.
Got you.
And certain people, some of the things he says are too vicious.
Yeah.
But we understand it, because we needed such a man to awaken the Congolese people.
Got you.
Because Congolese are asleep. Let me show you how Congolese are asleep.
Got you.
We had a president. His name was Mobutu.
Oh yeah. I studied Mobutu.
Mobutu. You know Mobutu. Okay.
Yeah.
Mobutu Sese Seko. My parents were telling me the stories when I was young. How they used to worship him every morning. I thought no, my dad. When I grew up, I watched the documentaries. I'm like, this is what my dad was telling me. So now Mobutu, Mobutu, you want to believe. The Pope came to Congo. The Pope told Mobutu, the Bantu people, you see the Congolese, you guys are the true people of the Bible. Mobutu said, no, the Pope has lost his mind.
Wow.
The Pope has lost his mind. I'm going to tell you something off air.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you something off air. I won't put it online.
Okay.
I'll tell you something off air. Yeah.
That's fine.
Pope John Paul comes to Congo and Angola. He says in French, Dieu est noir, Jésus-Christ est africain. Yeah. God is black, Jesus Christ is African. He said that, right? The Pope.
Yeah, I remember.
The Congolese heard it.
Said that, yeah.
Yes, it's there. It's even it's documented on a magazine.
Yeah.
The Pope said it. The Congolese people didn't hear. The now president of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi Tsilombo. Yes, my name.
Yeah.
He went to Texas at an Israeli lobby, talking about how Congolese love Jews. We have a Judeo-Christian heritage. A top rabbi flew to Congo and says, "No, you guys are the people." Our people still don't know. They laugh.
And see that's what and the creator kind of he showed me, because I've been talking about this to people even here. This is how I found out that the Hebrew Israelites can't keep saying everybody is a Hebrew, because I encountered certain black people even here in Colorado that they know their heritage goes back to Egyptian and Hamite sides.
Oh, you're touching a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, I know.
Brother.
I know.
You're touching a very sensitive topic.
I got you. And this is how I learned.
Out of wisdom, don't even go there.
No, I got you. It's just that there was a brother of mine from West Africa that I worked with at Amazon.
Where in West Africa?
He was from was he from? Well, he did say Ghana, I think. because I know, because he's the one that told me he knew when I mentioned the Hebrews. He said, "Oh yeah, they were big people. They were very big people. They were like, they were big, strong people." He says, "I know they were in Africa
The
and
Bantu.
the Bantu people, right?" And
We used to terrorize the Egyptians.
yeah,
We
that's what
used
he
to
was
we used
telling
to
me.
that
He was telling me
okay.
that.
I'll just put it like that.
Yeah,
We used to exactly this the sons of Yaounde and Beneyamun, Benjamin and Judah. Those two, we used to terrorize those when we
yeah,
had power.
right.
Man.
And that's how he told me. He says, "Look, I'm real skinny compared to how they used to be built back in the day." And so,
Okay.
essentially, what happened is that I was learning that our people cannot hear us connected to the harlot, and this is where I got into my harlot teaching. As long as that, because I know the Statue of Liberty, what it stands for, and and when Brother Issachar went and did because I watched him when he did he went to Washington D.C. to break the curses, and I watched his
Man,
video. I
a year
participated in his
a
prayer.
year a year later,
Yeah,
let me tell you, just touching on Issachar, the power of names, the power of they know what they're doing. For example, they say Issachar, interpreting the times and knowing what to do. There are two events that I'll never forget. When they first did the prayer for Congo, you know, I remember when it was a time when I lost my aunt uh, in America.
yeah.
She died of cancer.
Oh, sorry to
Uh,
hear that.
yeah, yeah, my mother's younger sister. She's practically American. Her kids are American. Her husband is a Mukongo. She's a Muluba.
Mm.
She's got a daughter. She hates Africa. Like she doesn't talk to us because we're African.
Oh, oh
I'm like,
man.
I'm like, what do you guys eat in America? Like seriously, not all, some.
Yeah,
Is it in the Coke? Is it like she's like she thinks she's better than us, and she's my blood cousin,
I'll tell
my
you what
sister.
it is, and this is something that was revealed to me. It's how we talk about the principalities that we have to fight.
Yeah,
They're the ones puffing us up based upon how we learn things here in America.
it's the
It's
only
being passed. It's being passed from our oppressors with that
exactly that's
concept of us being number one all the time.
that
That
American pride.
right.
Okay, I feel you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
I saw I saw I saw Brother Issachar pray for Congo. At the time, I didn't see his wife. He was praying. So I'm like, I used to go research. I used to go to the internet cafe. So I went there. It was in December. I saw it in December. It was 2018. 2018. I log on. I see prayer for Congo. When you touch Congo, you touch my heart.
oh yeah.
So I'm like, what? I click on it because it was a time when there was like elections and there was no power in Congo. Electricity was gone, so we didn't know what was happening. So we worried about our cousins and family members in Congo.
Gotcha.
Because normally before elections, there's always human sacrifices in Congo.
It sounds familiar.
Exactly. Exactly. So now I go there, I click, I see this man praying for Congo. I saw a couple of videos. I first saw him and then I saw his wife. I didn't know who they were.
Mm.
I didn't know who they were. I was like, wow, that touched me. It touched me. And I saw like many videos praying for Congo. And I looked and I'm like, I don't think they actually know I don't think they know the capacity of what they've done.
Gotcha.
So I said, you know what? I told Brother Masia, we are going to work with them one day. I knew it. I could sense it. That thing, that changed, of course, the shape of the awakening. When, of course, Mama Nicole started praying in the Kikongo Bantu dialects,
Yeah, that was
that
beautiful.
was amazing. That was amazing. It shifted with the awakening.
Yeah.
And then of course when they did that thing about praying for the the monuments and stuff, a year later, look what happened.
Yeah. Some of them
When
started falling.
exactly, exactly, and this is happening before our very eyes. People will be like, and
Yeah.
one of the things that hurt me was I don't be- I don't understand how certain, not all, African Americans are so blind. After seeing all of that, and I know that they took a big hit when the whole Simon Toko controversy and Zambi and zombie controversy
Yeah,
happened,
that you know how.
and
Let me tell you something. You want to know how I figured out that you were right?
about
Because
Simon Toko.
about Simon Toko and all of that is that
Oh, okay.
there's a dance craze in America called Zumba.
Yes.
When I realized that Zumba and Zombie are similar, that they put that in our face as
One
the
second. One
father.
second. One second. 1 second.
Go ahead.
Can you pause?
Okay, I can
1
pause.
second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason why it hit me so much and why I was able to connect when Pastor Mello talked about it is I live in a city where Catholicism is very big. I mean, it's a dumbed down
Yes.
world.
Yes.
And
Yes.
my
Yes.
brother-in-law,
Sorry.
go
We're
ahead,
in Colorado,
yeah, in Colorado,
so it's Catholicism is big in
yes,
Colorado.
in Pueblo
I see.
especially, they have a lot of
Ah,
Catholic because it's a Hispanic community, Latino,
yes,
and it's
the Latino
also
community.
controlled.
Yes.
It's controlled by the Italians here.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. So
Catholics will know. Okay, I understand. Okay,
right.
go on.
So my wife's family, heavy Catholics. Some are like she broke away from it. Some other family members did, but her brother's the one that stayed for her parents' behalf. And he always talked about the third seat, about Fatima, about praying about praying the rosary for Fatima. So I knew
Yes.
about it, but I never made the connection that it had something to do with us. So when Pastor Mello started talking about it, I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. That's
Yeah,
all about
exactly.
Bantu people, about black
It's always
people.
been.
And I was like,
People don't understand. It's always been about us.
yeah,
We are always the reference. That's why I didn't understand when people saying we are Jesuits or we are Catholics and
yeah,
the
I knew
most
better.
exactly people don't understand is Satan does not create. He copies.
Right,
He perverts what the Most High does.
right,
So everything, the supernatural occurrences that you see in the Bible, who interpreted the supernatural occurrences? It was Bantu
Bantu
people.
people.
Daniel interpreted supernatural events.
Yeah,
Moses did the supernatural. It's the Bantu people. We are the ones who interpret. You know what I'm saying? The
gotcha.
Most High used Gentiles. The Most High can do anything. He used these Gentile shepherds, but they only reach a level of understanding. We have the full revelation concerning
Right.
the third secret. So I couldn't understand how. That's why it shows you. You know why I like Pastor Melo's ministry? It exposed who is whom.
Right. And I talk to him about that all the time, and it's
Exactly.
amazing.
They were the leaders in America. It was a test.
Right.
It was
And
a test.
see, oh,
Exactly. We saw who is whom.
the most right,
We see who doesn't pray.
gotcha. And see
If
the way
if
that
you prayed,
right.
if you prayed and sought the Most High, you would get the answer.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
Exactly. Many prayed. Some people went with their own understanding. Brother Jonathan, whatever. I mean, I couldn't share that secret last year. I knew about it since 2014. I grew up in a Catholic home. My parents were Catholic and became Pentecostal, prophetic, and stuff. So I knew about the third secret of Fatima, but I didn't know what it was. I knew the first two. The
Got you.
day I got the revelation, I'm like, no ways. It made sense to me.
Right. And see, 2014 was when I got my massive vision about the end times.
Oh, wow.
It was a dream that I literally woke up screaming and crying
Wow.
because I saw, you know, massive destruction.
Exactly.
And even my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "It's gone. It's just all gone."
Wow.
And a few months ago, I think it was back in February or so, I had another one where he
Wow.
literally took me to an event where I saw something happen to a city but
Wow.
they covered it up and said it was a terrorist attack, kind of like 9/11. But it was an event that took place with a supernatural attack. And I saw things falling. It's like an EMP burst,
EMP burst. Okay.
and
Okay.
the city shook. Planes got knocked out of the sky, and I saw stuff falling on me like I was there. And then the news it says, "Oh, and just check it out," because there's an Iranian thing going on. It said Iran hit an Iranian terrorist just hit with a terrorist attack. I said, "No, it wasn't."
Wow.
I saw the thing
Whoa,
that
whoa,
did
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa. Let's stop there. Let's stop there.
Got
Wow,
you.
let's stop there.
Yeah,
Let's stop there. You
got
see what's
you.
happening right now with Iran.
Right.
Where do you think Iran's gonna strike?
Well, and see,
Israel,
that's
Israel or
what.
America?
Well, see, no, my thing is that the Most High, what He revealed to me is because He's setting the ambush, just like He said in Jeremiah. He's setting the ambush on Babylon. So there's going to be an event that a Maliki of some kind is going to. What I saw was a Maliki was involved, but the powers
Wow.
that be are going to say it was Iran, and the city that I saw was Denver, Colorado,
Where you're staying right now?
where I'm staying.
So, oh,
Now,
whoa,
I
whoa, whoa,
don't,
whoa, whoa.
you know, I don't know. Like I said, when you say, like you said, with prophecy or with any type of anything spiritual, you say it, it may not happen. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. You have to be very careful. It's
right,
the interpretation of what you
right.
see. Exactly, and that's what a lot of people are suffering from on YouTube, especially our sister from the UK.
But there's
You may
something about
you may see something,
right,
but you don't know how to interpret it well.
right.
You can cause confusion.
Got you.
You can cause a hectic confusion.
Oh
If
yeah,
you,
I
brother, you know what?
go ahead.
The spiritual world is like you know, like when you watch TV. Like I remember you have to set like the right coordinates. It's like a satellite for it to beam the image, the right coordinates. You know what I'm saying? You got to set the right coordinates. So if you don't set the right coordinates, the picture is distorted. You may see something, but it's distorted. That's what the Bible says. We see in part, we prophesy in part.
Right.
And it says sometimes we see in a mirror, the picture's not so clear. So the Most High will show you bits and bits. Some people see things clear. That's why
Got you.
you'll find some people when they prophesy, your name is Trey. You were born here. You did this. You did this. You did this. That is
Wow.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Other people will say, I kind of see. It's like you're still growing. But when you grow spiritually, your name is Trey. Your wife's name is Jessica. She was born in Washington. You've got
Got
2
you.
kids. In 3 years' time, it comes with levels of revelation. So you can see something, but you've got a distorted image. So now to interpret what you see, very dangerous.
Yeah, and that's why I was concerned because well, I learned something recently from that Minute to Midnight channel that I was watching about this guy who was talking about Freemasons that had disappeared, and he said a lot of them came to hide in Colorado. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I learned something about the fact that apparently the Queen of England bought property here, and some other things about Colorado that people are because it has NORAD. We have a lot of top secret stuff here. And I thought about it and said, well, it kind of would make sense that it could happen here because of the fact that there's a lot of demonic presence. That's Denver. They call Denver Washington D.C. too. Okay.
Wow.
So there's a lot of. They said like Denver's like one of the most wicked cities this side of the Mississippi when it comes to a lot of the things that have happened in that city. Um, I know when I was at that church that I used to go to, they had a testimony of a man who witnessed I don't know if they did it on purpose or what, but he witnessed a sacrificing of a baby in Denver, and he gave his testimony about it because his parents were into witchcraft, and I know that what was somebody telling me that horse that they put out in front of the DIA, it killed the person that created it, but it's a satanic demonic horse.
Wow.
So Yeah, it was like, and then they had some really strange. I worked at DIA, and some really strange stuff happened even while I was working there. It was like, how did that happen? So you
That's
can tell that
crazy.
there's some energy there that it's like when I was working there, it's like the demon that was there that was fighting with it, because they have that music that they chant that they said is supposed to keep the spirits or whatever down because it was built on a burial ground. And I said literally, I said one day it just felt like something was mad that I was there, like it didn't like me being there.
That's
And
amazing. That's
it
really
literally
good.
it almost it cost me my job when I got into an argument. Like it made me want to leave, and I could just sense that with the stuff they were telling me that was happening that was supernatural in that area. I said, yeah, there's something here. It's not good, and there's something here. And just to give you, that was the time that the angel had to save me, because there was an incident that they tried to. I was like the angel, the whatever forces were being, they tried to take me out in an accident. So I was saved by my Maliki in a 40 car pileup on I-25, where I literally my car was demolished, but
Wow.
nothing happened to me. I had no scratch,
Wow.
and no one died. Amazingly.
That's that's amazing.
And
That's the power we
I
have.
that's when I watched the Maliki stop the 18 wheeler from crushing my car because it was sliding towards us, and it just stopped on a
I
dime.
I believe in these things. People are not spiritual. That's the
Yeah,
problem. Yeah, and I wanted to ask you
go ahead.
when we had those vicious attacks from America and the UK, and there was so many people attacking us. Even some people that that is why like I tell you when you do your channel, never take the praise of man to heart. The same people who praise you will crucify you.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel that already.
Exactly, the
Yeah,
same people. So I would tell Brother Masia, people would comment like, "Oh, Kimbo, oh, we love you, just," and you know, I mean, I said, if I tell you the full truth, if I tell you the things that we know, you, some of you are not gonna love you, whatever. So I just smiled. And last year, I remember I did a message on Simon Togo.
yeah.
I was preparing the ground because I knew Pastor Melo was coming because he was gonna drop the third secret. He's like he told us, okay, the first two I'm gonna talk about the language, and then Simon Togo. That message is it's a bomb.
Yeah, it did. It was. And
It's like a bomb that went off. So
oh
I
yeah,
wanted to ask
because
you.
and see what I told Pastor Mello, and he said even Toko winked at me when I mentioned this. I said, you remember his story about his heart that they talked about?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And you remember Brother Baya mentioned like when he had the angels kick out the Belgians, and he felt like
yeah.
the power that rippled across the pond, he felt that he
It
got some of
it
that.
happened.
Yeah,
It's documented in Congo.
yeah.
If you meet any Congolese who knows, they will tell you angels came down and fought. It's not a fictional story. It's documented.
And see,
It's crazy.
oh yeah, I mean, like I looked it up and I was like, well, why would all
It's
these people lie?
documented. Yeah,
This is crazy.
it's documented. It's like in Angola, manna falls down in Angola.
Yeah,
You
I
know that?
saw that. Somebody showed a picture of
Yeah,
it. I saw that. That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah. You know, so you have to be spiritual and spiritual. So I wanted to ask you,
Go ahead.
when all these things were happening, uh, what was your reaction and how did you react? You said that you wrote to that wonderful prophetess.
Well, this is what I told her. I said, and what's funny is she never answered me. She just kind of laughed, and I said something to her. I said, you know, I said the only problem I have with what you're saying is you didn't bother to look it up or even check into it.
Exactly.
Because I mentioned the Church of Jesus Christ in the world, and she kind of, you know,
Brushed it off, marked it
brushed
off.
that off.
Okay.
And I mentioned something to her, but she never answered the question.
Exactly.
So it was like, but then I don't think you really know what
But
what's
exactly,
going on
people.
then? Because
Let me tell you. Let me tell
go
you.
ahead.
Let me tell you why you must not be emotional in this walk.
All right, I'm learning that.
You don't be emotional, because once you're emotional, you do a video based on emotions. You're in the flesh.
Yes.
Like I always say, it's okay to disagree.
Right.
The third secret of Fatima is not a salvation issue. Hallelujah. It doesn't mean because we sharing it, we know the Most High more than you. No, it's a matter of our stolen legacy. What
Right.
else is, yeah, because some of us, we want the depth of the Most High. We want to go deep in the Most High.
I'm gonna
I'm not
I'm
satisfied.
I'm gonna help our cause with a story, and I'm gonna tell you I
Okay,
witnessed this. Okay, this is to really help the power of understanding Simon Toko was for real.
okay,
So I worked at my job. There was a lady. She was from Europe. Now she knows American can be, kind of, stupid, or not say stupid, but ignorant or not about
oh, okay,
ourselves.
okay,
She was
okay,
from, I think, Hungary is her country. So we got to talking about scripture, and I started telling her about these things, and she decided she wanted to pray, and you know, I helped it with I did the Bantu prayer. I learned that from the one that he did, that Pastor Miller,
okay,
um, the Lord's Prayer in Congo,
okay,
and
okay,
I told her to rebuke these spirits that because she was a Christian, and I told her about saying in Messiah Congo and all that, and that Congo will protect you. This is what happened to her, and I told her about Simon Toko too, and she had a she comes back one day and she sees me and she's kind of panicking a little bit. She says, "Do you know what happened to me?" I said, "What?" She said, "Something came out of me that I have
mm-hmm,
never happened before." She
mm-hmm,
said, "So apparently, the Most High came and removed whatever. I think she must have had ball or something inside of her because it came out and said, 'I will destroy you.'"
wow,
So she had it out of. So she said that from that on, it was like the demon was angry that they got kicked out of her body because she now accepted the real truth about the Messiah being black and
wow,
everything. And for me, it was a testimony that
okay,
we're in the truth. And a similar thing happened to my wife because she started buying into the Bantu truth as well. And she didn't want to take the flu shot. She works at a hospital, and she hated
okay,
she didn't want to take the flu shot. So I had her change to what the Most High calls the Abantu Banguela, the people of the way, following the Messiah.
okay, okay,
And
okay,
so I had her type up some things about Simon Toko and everything, and I put it on her. The Most High came to her in a dream and says, "You're not. I have you covered. You're not going to have to take the flu shot." The
wow,
next day, she gets an email at work. "You don't have to take the flu shot."
wow.
That's how
Yeah, power,
powerful.
power. Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, because I mean it was a vicious attack. Like,
Yeah.
how did you feel? Because I remember I shut my phone. I told Brother Masia, I'm going to pray. Normally when I pray, I sleep on the floor. Like the
Well,
whole
I
night.
was I was frustrated with it because it was like for me, the Most High is the one that woke me up, not a camp. So,
Hallelujah.
you know, when I met with, see, because Issachar is the one that got me going when I stumbled across his channel when he did Rome Never Forgot the Hebrews.
Yes, brilliant, brilliant series.
Yeah, and
That's
I
a
started
brilliant series.
watching that.
I watched that and I didn't even know it was them. I
Right.
didn't know it was. I remember when I started watching it. I watched that series too. I actually downloaded it on my laptop. Brilliant series.
Yeah,
Brilliant
and
series.
so
Yeah.
when he started talking about the Bantu awakening, I looked into it. That's when I got the confirmation with my sister when she said she went to South Africa. And I said, okay, there's
Yes.
something to this. And lo and
Yes. Yes.
behold, it
Yes.
was what I was looking for because I started listening to the Bantu music. I started listening
Yes.
to songs, and I played this song for my parents because the music I guess it's based off of what they call kaiso in the Caribbean. And my parents said they couldn't stop dancing. when they heard it. Because
Is
you
it
know,
what?
because in the Caribbean they have a lot of calypso where they're from.
Calypso,
Right.
calypso, exactly.
So
It's calypso.
when my mom even wanted to dance like them, she said, "How come I don't know those moves?" She said, "Well, you know, in our culture we lost a lot of the moves. So I mean, the beat's still there, but we can't dance like we used to."
Okay.
And so they told me, I sent it to them. I'm like, "This is how we praise the Most High," and they didn't quite catch that. Like one time, I even told my parents, I said, "Your accent is the true Hebrew accent." They're like, "What?" I was like, "Yes."
Yeah. It's quite difficult for the older generation. Like my parents struggle. You know, my dad is a pastor. I pray, but I hear he's
Right.
researching.
My dad could be a pastor. That's why when I started listening to you, you remind me of him when we used to
You
have our
serious?
talks. Oh yeah, because
wow.
he was he's very um biblical. He studies scripture all the time, and he's the one that made me go to church all the time and learn and stuff. And he was very adamant about my mom was the same way.
Yeah, church was a foundation. You know,
right.
I mean,
I had a Maliki show up to tell me when I was slacking. I had a Maliki show up to get back in the scriptures one time. Because this is the Most High wanted to train me up, and that's all. Now
exactly.
I see why.
Church is a training. You know, my dad is a medical doctor and he's pastoring, and he's a pastor of the main pastor of the church. He knows this truth.
Yeah. See,
he knows this truth.
My father's a accountant like Messiah.
Oh wow.
CPA, yeah.
wow, that's amazing. So yeah, it was an amazing time. Like people didn't take the time to read Pastor Meadows' book. People didn't pray.
I read.
You know, I lost over 800 subscribers.
Wow, are you serious? They'll be back. Let me tell you something.
In the course of a week, I was like, wow, 800 subscribers.
I've had a few people unfriend me, and the Most High said they'll be back because one of the things that's happening, I had a battle with you should have. That's why I had Pastor. I wanted to get Pastor Mello involved with him because I got in a heated battle because he speaks fluent Hebrew, okay, and he's studied a lot of the history of the churches, Catholicism,
the Ashkenazi Hebrew.
Yeah, and he's Jewish, so he claimed that.
Okay.
So he was claiming that I was making false claims about black people being the real Jews.
Oh, okay.
And so one day, I posted the slave ship. What do you call it? The slave ship manifest, where they had the name of Yah in the name of the people. Yes. And he attacked me like, "Where did you get this? How do you know?" He was coming after me. I said, "It's off of the website that did it was called Black Slavery History or something like that."
Wow.
Like he didn't believe it. He couldn't believe his eyes that we used to say that we were called with the name of Yah.
Yeah.
And see, even the rock that I showed him that was in New Mexico, he tried to tell me it was ancient Latin.
Wow.
And Pastor Mello looked at it and said, "No, that's not ancient Latin."
That's amazing. Like for example, as Bantu people, we don't study the language. Like when you come, it's like for example, when my cousins see me, they call me Yaya. We've been saying it for years. Yeah. They always put "ya" in front of your name when you're elder.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And we say it twice. We say it twice. Now, in the Bible, Lord. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Lord. Yeah. It's you know what I'm saying? For us, that's why I say, I've got nothing to prove. You're wasting your time. That's why I don't debate these Jewish people. I just let them be. You say, this is my culture.
That's what the Most High told me. He said, I'll bring you. He said, literally, I'll bring you reinforcements. And what's funny is, since a lot of Bantu people started showing up on my Facebook page, I haven't heard a peep out of them. Because you see, and then I started putting the music on my Facebook page, the Bantu music. You can hear the type of the Semitic,
the spirit, exactly.
You can listen hear to the Semitic words.
Yeah,
I think that caught him by surprise.
I see you in the Congolese gospel channels, you commenting there, like, like those
Oh
Congolese gospel
yeah,
songs that we share. I see you, like, oh my goodness, there's Brother Trey talking
yeah.
to the Congolese people. Like, I just laugh and I move. I've seen you comment, those songs.
Oh
This
yeah,
is the
I
funny thing
love it,
is
and
the
it's
people in the land don't know. They
yeah,
don't
cause
know. Like, some know. The ones that know don't talk. But the
right.
majority of people don't know. They get shocked. Why? Because a lot of the churches are teaching on these things. It's like the Kimbangist church or the Tokoist. So they view them as cults.
Well, and see this is why the creator, one of the things he says is that as long as you're attached to Ishtar, which is the Easter that they worship in
Yeah,
Christianity, he
yeah.
says she'll blind you. Like I said, I had an encounter with her
Wow,
because I didn't realize that when you do separate from the harlot, she pays you a visit. I didn't
wow.
realize that.
I heard your testimony.
Yeah,
I heard your
I was
testimony.
shocked because it was a crazy dream. I was like, whoa. And see, that was the same time Jezebel showed up with her.
Wow,
And
that's
it
that's
was
some crazy
almost
stuff.
like they were begging me to go to the Most High to repent for that. I'm like, the Most High, I can even hear the Most High in the vision saying, don't even ask.
Wow, that's
It was,
crazy.
and see,
That's crazy.
I remember it. That's why I thought it was similar to, like, I knew the end time was coming because when I read the book of Enoch, the angels came to Enoch to ask for the Most High to repent.
To repent,
And
yes.
he's like, no, don't even ask. I'm not even going to do it. And so it's kind of like the repeat. I said, we must be getting closer because it's the
That's
repeat
deep
of
stuff. Now,
the content.
uh, we've done more than an hour, right?
Got, I think so. Let me see.
Okay, wait, 1 second. Before we end, like, in America right now, where do you see this thing going with Donald Trump, Joe Biden? Where do you see this thing going?
Are,
Because
are
I
you
hear
are you familiar with Larry Johnson by chance? Have you heard of him?
the white guy,
No, he's the former running back from the Chiefs. He used to be a Mason.
Larry Johnson. No, 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 no. I don't
Okay,
know who it is.
so I follow him on Twitter. He already said that Trump wasn't going anywhere when he saw the numbers through the Masonic realm. He said he even did a breakdown about what's going to happen in December is the major shakeup. It's going to be like an
Yes,
Al Gore, George Bush thing.
yes. And then Trump's gonna take it.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? And see, people don't read the Constitution. If it goes to the Senate, um, Mitch McConnell can overrule the election.
Exactly. Mitch,
So
Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is very powerful.
yeah, so I have a feeling that what they're planning to do is it's going to go to Congress and the Senate's going to overrule it based upon the fact that the Republicans think the Democrats stole the election.
Stole the election.
So he even said that something is he didn't want to elaborate, but he saw the numbers. He said, "No, Trump's not going anywhere."
He's
He
not
said,
going anywhere.
I'm just watching the show."
He's not going anywhere
Yeah,
because uh, um, I I had a vision.
gotcha.
It was last year when Trump came on the scene. When I saw all these pastors, Trump, Trump, Trump. I asked the Most High, and the Spirit spoke to me about Trump. I just kept it in my heart. So I was just laughing. And when I already saw how they've put his face on the Israel coin and all these things, they're calling him Dawidi. He's all these things. I'm like, this guy ain't going nowhere. So now we have people who prophesied Joe Biden, Joe Biden. So people are gonna be humble.
Right, and see when the Most High showed me who was in him, I said no, they're gonna flip it because what they wanted is they want the American public to be so involved in this battle. It's a
Exactly.
civil war. They created the civil
It's
war. Now they're
exactly
gonna take it
so
to the next level.
next level. So
So
now,
and see the saddest part about it is this is what kind of was revealed to me. Remember, there's a lot of black people who are on the Democratic side, and we know they're Bantus.
yeah,
So they want us to riot. They want us to
wow,
destroy ourselves. They know that
exactly,
they want us, they know if they flip it, the black people are going to lose it. Okay.
exactly,
And this is what the devil wants to see is for us to lose it.
exactly. Very true, very
And
true, very
so,
true. And I don't know if you saw the video I shared about Benny Hinn.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. I saw portions of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small thing. Yeah, it's crazy what's going to happen. So we are waiting. So what do you
Well,
think is going to happen to Biden?
well, he's the way that Larry Johnson spoke on it. He's like he's going to concede like Gore did to where he's going to say they because like I said when Bush took it, he tried to fight it and then they just say no, just go sit down somewhere.
Go sit
And
down, son.
Bush is going to be president. And I
Trump is
have
your
a
pharaoh.
feeling. I have a
Trump
feeling
is
it's
your
gonna.
pharaoh.
Yeah,
That's pharaoh.
yeah, because what the creator pointed out was he, when he did the elect. Because I was listening to that guy who did the Minute to Midnight. Because there wasn't even supposed to be an election. The Most High is the one that pushed it because it was a test. They were trying to destroy the election, like Issachar was talking about before, and he actually did a video on that. And he said they knew they were going to be up to something, and he mentioned in another video this is all part of the show. And the thing about it was the Most High said I needed to see who was idolizing and who wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So those of us he said not to vote passed the test.
Exactly.
Those of us who did,
well done. You saw it.
It was a test.
I saw 2 years ago. I prayed about Trump. The Spirit told me Donald Trump is going to expose the idolatry in Christianity.
Right.
He's going to expose, like he's Christianity personified. He's the fallen state of Christianity personified. So that's why all the Christians could identify with him. It's a strong delusion.
And it's the truth because in that evangelical church I used to go to, one time I said something negative about them
about Trump, exactly, and then they attacked you. Yeah,
and I was like, okay.
In Africa, they prayed for him. They were fasting and praying for Trump. We don't even fast and pray for our own president, but you saw people fasting for Trump. Why? Trump is fighting for Israel. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
I wish they would listen to that video that one guy who that Issachar talked about, Dick Gregory.
Yes.
When he talked about Donald Trump, he said there's two Trumps. That's what he said. He said there's the Trump with the red tie and the Trump with the red tie.
Man, it's hey, anything is possible in his last days.
And I try to tell, and he's trying to show them that this whole thing is rigged. The computers can be turned because he won. He said about how he won the presidency against Nixon, and they turned the computers off. So he said this can be changed.
For example, in 2016 when Trump won, Hillary Clinton had won. They flipped the script.
Yeah.
There is no way Trump could have beaten him.
That's why everybody was shocked. They said, "How did Trump do that?" Because they said
exactly
she got the popular vote.
Exactly. And now, what's his name? Trump had won this election.
Right.
They give it to Biden.
Right.
Clinton had won that election. There is no ways that Trump could have.
Everybody was shocked. And see, you know, but the Masons, that's what they say. They do that to us on purpose because we idolize these people and we don't know who they are.
Exactly.
And see, you know, the thing that's going to come out of this that I because see, my cousin's a U.S. senator. He's a Republican.
Oh wow.
He had Trump on his show. It was his church that the guy did the shooting in. That Dylan Roof guy.
Yeah.
That killed that pastor. Yeah, it was his church.
And 9 people or something. 9 people shot.
Yeah, it was his church. Then that's when Obama did you know what was so funny? This is how I knew the Most High didn't appreciate Obama doing that. The eulogy. Right after, most people don't know. Yeah. You know what happened after that? Charleston flooded. It's flooded after that.
Wow.
So I was telling the Most High he did not appreciate that they had Obama in that church.
Obama is an abomination, man. Yeah. Obama, come.
Yeah, they had it on the news and everything that they had to get their votes. I mean, they were flooding bad after that incident.
Obama came to Africa preaching to us a homosexual gospel, like except being gay. Like Mugabe told him, "Come marry me first." I miss Mugabe sometimes.
Yeah.
Brother Trey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was an honor. I'm gonna come back on on your beautiful YouTube anointed channel.
Thank you.
Thank you for the truth you shared.
Yeah.
I will see you going about.
I have one more question before you leave.
Oh, what? Okay, okay.
Because we talked about the spirit of lust, and I know it's very strong.
Okay.
How do I keep him? How do I keep him at bay? That spirit at bay. How do you stop
Brother,
keep it at bay?
brother, let me tell you something. There's a verse in the Bible I never understood until I grew up.
Okay.
It says, flee. A pastor told me the control of lust, not even the Holy Spirit can control it. Flee.
Flee. Okay.
Flee. So there is no, you can fast and pray, which is good.
Yeah.
But flee, run away. You need the anointing of bolt. You know, bolt.
Gotcha.
You said bolt. Run.
Yeah, bolt. Yeah. Well, see, and that's why I hate that his name is in our language everywhere. They put his name everywhere. And I hate that because he attaches himself to weak people.
Oh, that's deep.
They put his name everywhere. I mean, the demon of lust is in our everyday language. And then, of course, with the obelisk that they put up everywhere,
exactly,
they're channeling the stuff off of
them. Run, and also don't depend on your own strength.
Gotcha.
Don't depend on your own strength, and I'll give you Romans 8 verse 1.
Romans 8 verse 1.
Verse 1 to 2. Read it over and over again. In fact, meditate the whole of Romans 8.
Romans 8, okay.
Romans 8, like you go, Romans 8, you know, but it's a war, and that war you fight until kingdom come, because even do you know what makes me sad about this awakening? Majority of the people are women.
Yeah, that's sad.
That makes me sad.
Said that, and you know,
that makes me sad, because how can I preach a message that only attracts women? It reminds me of the church.
Yeah, and see, that's where I say
we are the men. We are the men.
Well, that's where I say that the spirit has still control. That harlot spirit has us locked in because of the fact that it's a harlot spirit. So we have to break that separate. We have to separate.
Oh, just be careful how you say things. We're not calling all those women harlots, please.
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about the harlot spirit that's attached.
Yes, no, I'm saying on YouTube people hear wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do a video. No, not the women. I do a video. I mean, how did you hear? Like, I do a whole video.
Selective hearing.
Like, exactly. Like, when did I say that? Some people, black people, we don't hear well, and we don't learn to talk to each other. We don't hear well. Seriously, black people, I'm sorry. Whether in America, whether in Africa, we don't hear well. I was like, brother, how did you manage to hear that? Where did I write? You know what I'm saying? We are very emotional. We just act by emotions, so that makes me sad when I see majority of women.
I think it's going to change soon. I think what Mikhail Masa said is going to change it, because
Mikhail Masa is the doctor of love.
Yeah, I saw that.
Doctor of love, matching people.
People, yeah. All right,
anyway, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and
appreciate you too. Thank you for standing for this truth.
Hey.
I mean, I read your stuff. I've watched some of the videos, and I was like, wow, I'm really impressed. Keep on going strong.
I'm trying. Yeah, like I said, I just wish I could get people here. My biggest thing, and I wish it would happen. We need to find a way to meet each other, because I mean, it's great to be on social media, but we got to come together. I think that would really help us. And I wish
it's going to be amazing. Like, I just picture us going up some mountain in Africa praying together.
Yes, I look forward to it.
There's a sister from the UK. When I started doing my videos, she writes to me, tell me about Simon Kimbangu. Tell me, she was interested. Tell me about Congo. I'm like, no. Her DNA is crying. Her DNA is crying. She told me, I'm coming to South Africa. I thought she was joking. On the way, she said, Jonathan, I'll be in South Africa in the next 2 days. She came with her son. She landed in South Africa. She says, I want my life to change. I took her to up the mountain where I pray sometimes. She says, I want my life to change. I want the Most High to give me everything I came to seek here in Africa. When she said that, a week later, coronavirus.
Wow.
Coronavirus hit and the lockdown was in effect.
When we have time, I'm going to show you how I knew something was coming before it hit, and I'll tell you how.
No problem. No problem. So
her stay. Yeah, go ahead.
Her stay in Africa. She didn't prepare for lockdown. Like we're locked down. Mm-hmm. So she's like, after she said that prayer, because she was supposed to leave, right? But lockdown happened.
Wow.
And it's like, Jonathan, what am I doing here? Pastor Milo has a friend. He's a pastor. He had a dream about her.
Really?
He didn't even know who she was.
Wow.
Pastor Melo, as he called Pastor Melo said, no, there's a sister from me. He said, I had a dream. A sister came from, and I need to meet her.
Gotcha.
That man had a dream also about me, and he saw that I would bring that sister to him. I've never met this man.
Gotcha.
So we met him, his name is Pastor Andre. We met him and his wife. It was like a family reunion.
Wow.
That sister's Congo roots.
Wow, that's crazy.
They connected her, and then he gave her, he says, I see the number 27. A month later, she left on the 27th of July.
Wow.
She came to Africa. Her life was never the same.
Never the same.
Never the same. There is something here.
Yeah, and my sister told me that. She says, I got to come, because they're trying to get her to come back. And I said, I want to go when you go.
Exactly. There is something, especially the oppressive spirit in America. When you just land in Africa, it's not the same.
Got you.
Her life changed. I told today. She's Simon Toko what. She's deep. She breaks down the Bible and all these things.
Yeah. When I started understanding Simon Toko's role more, as I've gotten to know more things that the Creator's revealed, I'm like, now it makes perfect sense why he came.
It makes perfect. Exactly. And there are many other secrets the Most is going to reveal. All right, brother.
All right. You say you're going to tell me something off camera.
Off camera, yes. Okay.
All right.
Okay,
Let me stop the recording. All right.
Yeah.